Welcome to the Life Sciences Dreamin web series. We have Ben here from DataGroomr. We met Ben, Shannon, the founder of our company at Cloud Adoption Solutions, met Ben, uh, gosh, back last summer, I think. And she called me right after and was like, "You got to meet this guy. He's like a doctor of data." She was so excited to have Ben come and speak at Life Sciences Dreamin. And the feedback we got from everybody was there were so many great sessions, and I didn't get to attend all of them. So we wanted to highlight some of the speakers and sponsors who were part of Life Sciences Dreamin. And Ben is the first one we are working with. So, Ben, I'm going to hand it over to you, if you don't mind. Tell us a little bit about DataGroomr, and then he's going to give us a demo, and then we'll end with some questions. Ben, I'll hand it
Hi,
over.
hi, Liv. It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you so much. I'm very excited to talk to you. And the event was amazing. And I'm, sorry that you were not able to attend. And it's gonna be my pleasure today to show you what you missed, as well as talk about what we do at DataGroomr. So with that, let me share my screen. I'll show you what we do at DataGroomr, the product, and how we help companies clean their Salesforce and make sure the data quality is up to the standards. You should be able to see my screen.
Yep, I can see it.
Yeah. Okay. So back in the day, we worked with Salesforce, and we actually the companies that we worked for, they merged, and the task was simple: get data from one company, Salesforce, to another company, Salesforce, and make sure that the duplicates are not coming in. So we approached this problem by using some of the tools that are available that help clean data in Salesforce. And we spent a lot of time and we really struggled because we had to set up a lot of things manually. We have to run a lot of experiments. And by the time we spent all of this time setting um, filters and criteria of which records are the same, the data has changed and we had to do it again. So we thought there is something that we can do better, and this is how we decided to start DataGroomr. So DataGroomr, the main point of DataGroomr was to make it simpler. So you can go to our website, anybody can go to our website or go to App Exchange and install a DataGroomr, and nothing is needed to be set up. This application starts working right away. It's going to look at the data in leads, contacts, and accounts in your Salesforce, and it's going to show you which records are the duplicates. From that, you can either review these duplicates or even mass merge them with click of one button. So let me show you how it's done. I'm gonna go to updategroomer.com and then just log in with my credentials. And when users first log in, they are greeted with the dashboard, and all of these insights into your data are automatically available because DataGroomr is based on machine learning, and we trained algorithms, machine learning models based on the millions of records from the companies that partnered with us in the beginning. And we give these models to anyone. When they sign up, they don't have to set up anything. The duplicates are shown right away. On this dashboard, people can set up what they want to see, and we can add some graphs that show how duplicates changed over time. So it helps to see the ROI of the tool. And entire application is structured into multiple modules. Trimmer, this is the module where deduplication happens. Brusher module dedicated to data quality and data verification. aspect of data in Salesforce. Importer lets you upload new data to Salesforce and make sure duplicates are not coming in. And auditor shows audit of all of the events that happened by DataGroomr or through DataGroomr. Schedule lets you set up tasks and run them on schedule without any interaction. And supervisor helps to set up how certain features are done, like how duplicates are detected and what specifically happens when multiple records are merged into one. So let me dive a little bit into what we have in the trimmer module. So when we go here, we'll see what we call data sets. And data sets are the set of records from an object. It can be all of your records, or it can be subset of your records that you segment to see only part of your object. And then you can also compare one data set to another. So with that, I have leads, contacts, and accounts, and I have leads and contacts and leads and accounts where I compare my leads to my contacts. From that, we can see how many duplicates, how many total records, how many groups. And when we enter the data set, all of the records are grouped into two buckets, the matched records and the unmatched records. So matched records, every group is assigned a match confidence, which is the measure of machine learning model of how confident, how similar the records inside of the group are. From here, we can click on the group and we can review the records inside the group so that we can decide what we want to do with it. One record is designated as the master record. If we want to change it, we just click here and we pick another record and it's going to flip. We can see the values that are different. They're highlighted in red. And if we want to preserve some of the values from duplicate records into the master record, we can just click on it and the record will be placed in the master record. From the same screen, we can run the validation of mailing addresses and phone numbers and also physical addresses. So I was going to say email addresses. And if we're happy, we can just merge our group and these records will be deleted and these records will survive and all of the records that are related to these two will be moved over to the master record. If we're not ready to make a decision, we can just assign some sort of flag to the group so that we can come back to it later, or we can navigate to the next group for review. So this one is pretty similar. It's 99 confidence that there are the same records. So I'm going to just click merge and the system merges them in Salesforce and advances to the next group automatically. And I can just keep going like this, merging records one by one manually. If I realize that I make a mistake, we give you an option to undo the merge. Just by clicking undo, all of the records will be restored and the related records will be reparented to the duplicate that was merged. Just like that. So if you have hundreds or thousands of records, it's time consuming to merge them manually. So we give the mass merge button, just click on the mass merge button and merge of the records that are matching higher than the certain number of confidence. From here, click merge all, will records will be merged away. What I notice in practice that once people get comfortable with the tool, they use the schedule module and then just set up a job that automatically mass merges all records that are matching. So let me just give a little bit of an overview of the brusher module. This module dedicated to data quality and verification. We also have the same concept of data sets here. And by clicking on the data set, we can set up how we want to inspect and what we can do with our data to make sure that the quality is better. So we can verify phone numbers, emails, and mailing addresses. And this action is going to be preset up based on the fields in your object. We can also run standardization actions, or for that matter, any transformation actions. And it's very simple. We can, for example, may be interested to make sure that all of the mailing states in our data use the same format, whether it's 2 letters abbreviation or the full state. So we can just click here and add a new rule. And in this graphical designer, with simple drag and drop, we can select how we want to format our data. And for the state, we're gonna just grab this block, format state, and select the format that we'd like. So I'm gonna select this one, and we can see in the preview window that for California is gonna be changed to CA. And then we're gonna give this rule a name, format state, and then we'll just save it. And this rule we can assign to any fields that we want to apply the same format. So if I have mailing state or billing state or other state, I can use the same rule. And with that, we can just save it and run this mass transform action on our entire set of records in this data set. As well as merge, we can schedule it and then just run it every night, so we don't have to care about our data for transforming it manually. In addition, what's also useful in browser module is that we can verify contact information, things like emails, phone numbers, and mailing addresses. We can do it in bulk through mass verify, or we can do it based on individual record just here. So one other thing I wanted to highlight is that DataGroomr can also be installed in Salesforce, and then we have few Lightning components that let your users in Salesforce take advantage of data quality tools. The verify component lets people see if contact information is valid or not, and they can run verification right from Lightning. And they can also see the duplicate records, and they can also merge duplicate records from Lightning. Finally, importer module. It lets add new data to Salesforce and make sure that the duplicates are not coming in when new data is added. So it works by looking at the data from CSV file and comparing it to the data in Salesforce. So if I just take the file and that I want to import to my leads, I can just select the mapping of the columns from CSV file to the fields in Salesforce like this, and then just click one button, and in a few seconds we'll see which records are new and which are already in Salesforce. And for the sake of time, actually I like to see how this scroll bar goes. It feels really good to see when it progresses, and I can see my dupes. So we'll give it a few seconds. Okay, it's done. So out of 120 records that I uploaded, 92 are new and 28 are in my Salesforce already. So for the new records, I'm just gonna go ahead and mass import them with this button. I can assign to campaign if I want to. And for the records that are already in Salesforce, I can extract some of the information to enrich my Salesforce. I can do it manually by just looking at the individual records. For example, on this one, I can see that the phone number is new. So I can just take the phone number and update my Salesforce. But if I want to do it for all of the records, I can just click mass update and take all of the new data from my CSV and put it into my Salesforce. That's importer. In auditor, we can see all of the actions that we've done with our data, and we also see how, if we have any jobs, they will appear here. Recycle bin lets us restore records that we merged away, and scheduler lets us set up the jobs and run them on our schedule. can be anything: merge analysis, normalization, verification, and so forth. And supervisor lets us set up certain features in the app. So I wanted to highlight a couple things here. So first is how DataGroomr detects duplicates. And this what sets DataGroomr apart. We use machine learning, and for everyone, we give the standard models that we trained of millions of records based on data from some companies. But in addition to that, we give you an option to train your own machine learning model. And it's very simple. You can just select the fields that you want the algorithm to look at. So I'll just use some of the same fields that we use in DataGroomr by default. And then we ask you to train the model. And by training, we mean giving examples of what's a duplicate, what's not for your organization. Sometimes you may be interested to use some custom fields or have specific criteria of what is a duplicate, what's not. So after I click training, the DataGroomr is gonna present you some of, few records side by side, and you're gonna tell if they're duplicates or not. And based on that, machine will build a pattern on your data that you'll be able to apply on your entire object, and then just use it as an input for duplicate detection. So the other part that I would like to highlight is the merge rules. So in order to effectively automate duplicates merging, what's important is to set up algorithm of what the record should survive in case of multiple duplicates, and which field values we'd like to preserve in the master record when we get rid of the duplicates. So for that, we have two options. We have master record rules and field value rules. So master record rule is an algorithm that selects the master record out of multiple records that are duplicates. So we provide few scenarios that you can just use, and there is nothing else you need to do, but you can also modify it, adjust it to the needs of your company. So I'm gonna start with the simple scenario by just sorting the group based on the last modified date, and in case they modified at the same time, I'm gonna sort it based on the created date. However, what if we are merging contacts and some of them are customers and some of them are prospects? So what we can say is, in case we have multiple records of different statuses or something like that, we can just differentiate for them based on their status. So we can say, if record status is customer, then we want it to survive. And if record status is a prospect, it's going to be our second priority that we want to retain in our database. So master record rules are fairly straightforward. We build them like that. And the field value rules are a little bit more sophisticated because there is more control that we give you. So the first, the basic algorithm that we provide out of the box is this one. For the empty fields in the master record, we let the system take non-empty values from the duplicate records. And from here, we can do more. We can specify behavior based on the field level. So for example, for our company value on our lead, we may want to concatenate all of the values with comma. And for the annual revenue field, we may want to just, let's say, take the highest value. And for any other field, we may want to preserve the value that was modified most recently, like this. And there is a lot of flexibility that comes with the merge rules. We can use logic, we can exclude certain records, we can use one of those break ties, a value from other fields based on the values from other field, and so forth. That's a basic run of what DataGroomr can do. How does it look, Liv?
That was great. Andrew and I were messaging each other the whole time. Oh, this part's so cool. Oh, I love that. I think having been both in sales and then also a sales admin, there's just so much, there's so much to love. I was really, I leaned in at that moment where you started talking about users being able to validate things and verify. Um, because in my experience, there's usually not enough people in sales ops or rev ops supporting the sales team to keep data clean. So sometimes when you have all of the uh, data cleaning responsibilities lying with sales ops or rev ops, they just fall behind because, well, they still have their day jobs and they have to do that. So I loved seeing that users would be able to have that ability to verify. I am curious, how does the verification work?
Yeah, that's a very good point about being able to delegate, because if you have, thousands of records and you need to review them manually, it's just so time consuming to do it, to give it to admins to do all of the work. So verification for email addresses, it's actually fairly sophisticated. So we interrogate the domain, then we start talking to the server, and we're checking if this mailbox is valid, if if the mailbox accepts emails. And also, what sets us apart from similar solutions is that we use machine learning, and sometimes when mailbox is invalid, we can discover valid email and we can suggest it to people so that they can replace invalid emails with valid emails in the system, and we are not using any sort of the database like other products with the different price point. For mailing addresses, we partnered with a provider that gives us access to all countries in the world, and we match addresses to the addresses, real addresses in a given country, and we can format it based on the mailing authority in the given country. For United States, it's going to be USPS. For other, for Canada, it's going to be Canada Mail, Royal Mail in UK, and so forth. And phone
Wow.
addresses, we just use a big database, and it's going to tell you if this phone number is reachable, and if it's a fixed line, or if it's a mobile, or if it's a toll free, and so forth.
Wow. That's like an all-in-one tool.
Yep.
I love that. Um, in terms of the rules, it looks really user-friendly. How often, like, who tends to be the people in the back end using this? And is it pretty accessible to sales leaders?
Yeah, good question. We tried to make it accessible and make it easy for designing sophisticated rules, because I personally work with many companies, helping them set up the matching rules, the merge rules, and I can tell you that this can be fairly sophisticated. So people want to be able to do a lot of processing when they merge it. So we were thinking like we could give them a lot of drop downs, check boxes, and so forth, but we tried to make it accessible. So we decided to do drag and drop. I don't know if you have children, but this is how they learn, this is how they teach people in schools to for programming. So there is a little bit of a learning curve when it comes to field value rules, but once you get a hold of it, I think it's superior to any other way of setting up how specifically you want to massage your data when you merge it.
Yeah, it was at this point when you started demonstrating this, I sent Andrew a message. It's like, we need to split this out just as its own section because it's so cool. It looks very intuitive. I have some experience, so maybe I'm not coming in cold, but yeah, I really love the look of it. Especially the layering, as simple as and then sort by. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
very.
I personally also very visual person, so I like to see things. So when I drag and drop and sort of touch it, it gives me more feedback than setting up in something in a tabular format.
Yeah. So stepping away from the demo, I have a couple questions, and I'm curious. This is obviously I don't need to know all the details of the customer it was you worked with, but at a high level, I'd love to know what's been the most rewarding and challenging project you've gotten to work on with DataGroomr.
I always like to see when our product helps people. And I mean, obviously, it helps people who work with the data, but I really enjoy seeing when it helps real world, right? So we have a lot of nonprofits using our product. And I would say that the most rewarding piece is that when I see that by using DataGroomr, people can make their primary function more efficient and help more people. So we work with a lot of nonprofits in healthcare space, in life sciences, and sometimes things like that may save lives.
Hmm.
I'm not exaggerating. So that's the most rewarding piece. The challenging is usually when companies have data that they've been accumulating for years, sometimes, more than 10 years, and they didn't pay attention to their data. And, as a data scientist, when I look at it, I I really feel the pain of the data that been neglected for so long, and cleaning this up is usually a lot of challenge. So sometimes it needs to be done in multiple iterations, and we are always our support specifically is always there and work with our customers to help them, get to where they want to be as fast as they want as they can.
Yeah, that reminds me of a two-part question. The first one is, does this work with custom objects?
Yes, it does work with custom objects. So we were able to train machine learning models for leads, contacts, and accounts because they are used mostly by all Salesforce customers, and data is more or less similar. And we also give an option to train your own machine learning algorithm for any object and merge as well.
Okay. And then that leads me to the second part, and that is, how does DataGroomr work with data integrations from third-party sources or legacy sources?
That's a very good question. At the moment, we give couple options. So the legacy system data can be exported and then provided to DataGroomr in the form of CSV. That's one option. The second option is the data can be placed in Salesforce as a like as an object, and then through importer we can take this data and move it to other objects where it wants to be. Um, Another option is when people merging Salesforces, um, we let them use Salesforce external object and then pull data from external object from another Salesforce into their instance of the Salesforce where they're aggregating the data. And finally, the most exciting of all that I'm really looking forward to announce is that by the end of October, DataGroomr will release data API where um, where customers will be able to consume DataGroomr algorithms through API and send data directly to DataGroomr engines for processing and then adding to their Salesforce.
Wow. Okay. Well, the next question I was going to ask is what's on the roadmap that you're most excited about? Which I think you just answered. Can you tell me a little bit about how, because I was very impressed at the pricing of DataGroomr. It's very affordable. Will a feature like that be included at some levels, or how does that work?
Yeah, so pricing is, we try to keep it straightforward, so it's published on our website. Uh, we have 3 tiers, the standard, professional, and enterprise. And standard lets you clean up your Salesforce. Pretty much all of the core features are included. If you require certain level of flexibility and customization, you would go with professional, and enterprise adds features like API integration and undo merges and role-based security, things like that. So on the roadmap that's probably within few months away, we are going to release the API. We are going to add a feature to backup data when it's being merged. So at the moment, we are letting undo the merge within the period of when records are in Salesforce recycling bin, because we don't store customers' data. And we're going to extend it to backup into Salesforce so that they'll be able to get back to the point before the merge for any duration that's needed. And overall, we are adding features that are based on machine learning with the goal of making cleanup easier and more accessible with the less effort.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I'm going to give one more question, and then I'll let you get back to it. In your session at Life Sciences Dreamin, you talked about how much like data integrity is important no matter what. But in the life sciences, you specify that it is far more important. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so whereas, I don't know anybody who likes dirty data, but with the bad data in life sciences, the risks are elevated. For example, if we're running a clinical trials company and we have duplicates in our data, whereas for standard, typical company having 3%, 5% of duplicates is not great, but it's somewhat, acceptable. For data science, for clinical trial organizations, it can be devastating, right? There's the level of duplicates that they can tolerate is 0. Life sciences company, they can be fined if they're out of compliance, and having bad data, it make you susceptible to being out of compliance. You can be fined, some sanctions can be imposed, you can even be shut down until you figure out your data issues. And because life sciences related to safety, they work with patients, any data issues that may lead to miscommunication, incorrect diagnosis, um, delayed communication, they can be really life-threatening. So all of the risks of bad data are highly elevated in life sciences and healthcare industry.
Yeah. Well, I having just seen that solution and how efficient it is, whether you're the admin side or the user side, I really think that this is a great solution for it. And I'm excited to show the audience around and get more people introduced to DataGroomr because the, the price is fantastic and the product is fantastic. So thank you so much for your time with this. And if anybody has questions, you can reach out to Ben directly or me, and I'm happy to pass you right along to Ben. Anything to add there, Ben?
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I really like to invite everybody to try the tool. It's 2 weeks, completely unrestricted trial, no credit card required. Just go on the website, sign up, and you'll see the insights of your data quality and your duplicates. And my advice to everybody is that do not delay, data quality, data deduplication activities. Start today. You will never regret seeing your data clean.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ben. And we'll have more of these series with some other great speakers and products coming your way. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you.